This podcast is brought to you by Ignition from Inductive Automation. This is Gary Minchell. More thoughts on manufacturing and technology and occasionally leadership and publishing. So, WikiLeaks strikes again. Supposedly some of the most secure places that we have, the CIA, National Security Agency, has been hacked, and a number of documents have appeared once again in WikiLeaks. Scanning the documents initially anyway, people were concluding that they've been able to break, that the CIA and FBI and so on can break into our encrypted data on our iPhones and other devices such as that. The question becomes, where are you secure? Should you just assume that everything that you're doing is open to somebody sometime? And even if it's just for quote unquote national security purposes, is that going to wind up on some front page somewhere because somebody like WikiLeaks gets a hold of it? Drives home the whole cybersecurity issue in industrial automation, critical infrastructure, and other things of asset management that I deal with. And the last ARC forum in February, there were no less than 5 companies I talked to dealing in various aspects of cybersecurity. Interestingly, about at least 3 of them were headed by former Israeli security peoples, and so one presumes they know what they're doing. And anyway, several of the attempts to do cybersecurity have to do with network monitoring and then looking for anomalies using various kinds of algorithms and artificial intelligence and machine learning and all that kind of stuff as part of just reading the network itself or the packets going out. Other people take different approaches. They're looking for security down at a device level of some sort. I think most people still talk about defense in depth when you're talking about getting hacked or being secure from hacking in your critical infrastructure, which could be power generation, water plants, wastewater plants, not to mention chemical plants or even refineries or anything else we're doing. And this even goes beyond that into automotive and stealing secrets and all kinds of things. So typically what we know about cybersecurity is you could do all this stuff. You're probably going to get hacked. Right now, the latest news I saw about this whole huge WikiLeaks thing is that the FBI is looking for a mole, a little mammal that goes around underground and eats your bulbs from your perennial flowers and all that kind of stuff, or grubs or whatever they might be trying to get a hold of. So they're looking for a mole to see who gave access or documents or files to WikiLeaks. Interesting concept, because I think we know that we can do all this defense in depth. We can do all kinds of things in network monitoring and so on and so on and so on. And the biggest security flaws come from internal. Come from people, basically. Either social engineering, where somebody picks up a USB stick and plugs it in and not realizing that it has some sort of executable on it that can open up your network and computers to outside hacking, or do nefarious things to a PLC by looking for certain parameters and then changing them, various things like that. So you got the old USB stick ploy. You have the upset, recently fired person that you didn't yank all of his permissions soon enough, or somebody who's just disgruntled, they got passed over for promotion, or I don't know, I worked in manufacturing, worked around a lot of people, and people get disgruntled for a lot of reasons, and they're sometimes hard to protect against in these kind of security situations. Just goes to show we have a long way to go. We need policies, we need supervision, we need to be able to check all these things. Plus we need all the network security stuff, watching what's going out, watching what's coming in, and watching who has access and how we grant access and all of that sort of thing. So it was really, really firmly driven home at the ARC forum that security is a major thing. I went to an Internet of Things forum a couple of weeks following that. Still some discussion of security, but what I find when I go into Internet of Things discussions too often, there is not that concern about security that perhaps they should have. Um, don't know exactly why. Maybe there's no security person there, or they just, a lot of people assume security. They assume that my iPhone is encrypted and stuff can't get out other than what I make public. Some people make everything public and then they're really screwed, but that's their problem, right? But anyway, thoughts this week on cybersecurity and what's going on there. So this is Gary Mitchell, and this podcast is brought to you by Ignition from Inductive Automation. And let's think security this week.